Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
ये ओम शांति का एक ही शब्द
This single word Om Shanti
हमें चार ही सब्जेक्ट की याद दिलाता है.
reminds us of all four of our subjects.
ज्ञान भी आ जाता है इसमें.
It includes
मैं
knowledge
कौन हूँ?
as to what am I,
और
who
मेरा
am I,
स्वरूप क्या है.
and what is my
ये
form.
ज्ञान की सब्जेक्ट भी आती है.
So the subject of
और
the
योग भी
knowledge
इसमें
of the
है.
self is
मैं
there,
शांत
and then
स्वरूप हूँ, तो
yoga
शांत
is there,
स्वरूप
that I am the
हमारा
embodiment of
शांति
peace,
में
so that
लौलीन हो
means I
जाना
must
योग.
merge in love in the
और
stage
धारणा
of
भी है
peace. And then
कि
there
मैं
is
शांत
also
स्वरूप हूँ
dharana,
तो
because if I
अशांति
am
है
the
ना
embodiment
मेरे
of
में या
peace,
दूसरे
then
को दे
neither
सकती.
is it possible for me to give
और सेवा भी
disturbance to
है.
myself or to others, and
ओम
service is
शांति
also
शब्द को
included in that,
अर्थ
because we
सुनाती है.
explain to everyone the meaning of Om
और
Shanti,
महामंत्र के
and
रूप में ये
we
याद
give
दिलाती
this
है.
as the great
तो
mantra
ये
to
औरों की भी
remind
सेवा हो
people,
जाती.
and in that way others are
ओम
served.
शांति तो सभी को बहुत पक्की
So
हो ही
everyone is
गई
very
है.
firm in
क्योंकि
this
हमारी
word Om
पहचान
Shanti,
इंडिया में
because in India
तो यही कहते हैं
our
कि ये ओम शांति
our
ग्रुप है. ओम शांति ग्रुप.
information is that people
तो
consider
हमारा
us to be the
परिचय
Om Shanti group, and it's our
शार्ट में सभी
introduction.
को
In a short
ओम
way,
शांति
people
ग्रुप
say,
के रूप में बहुत सही
many
है.
people find it easy to call us
तो
the Om
हम लोग
Shanti
तो
people,
उसमें स्थित रहते ही है.
and that's because we remain in
क्योंकि
that
बाबा
stage,
ने
because
बाबा देखो
Baba
कितना प्यार है बाबा
has given
का.
us so much love
जो बाबा ने हमें
that
परिवर्तन
he
करने
has,
के लिए
in order to transform
कोई
us,
ज्यादा मेहनत नहीं दी.
he has not given us too much effort
क्योंकि बाबा
to
ने
make,
देखा
because
है
Baba saw
कि ये 63
that
जन्म जो है वो
these
बहुत मेहनत
people
की.
have made a lot of effort for the last
बहुत थक
63
गए.
births, and they became exhausted.
इसीलिए
And therefore,
बाबा
Baba
ने बस सिर्फ 2 काम हमको
simply
दिए.
gave us 2
ज्यादा नहीं
things to
दिए.
do, not more than that.
और वो भी बहुत सहज.
And both of those are very easy.
एक बाबा कहता है याद करो.
One is, Baba says, stay in
मुझे याद
remembrance,
करो.
remember
हर
me.
मुरली में आता है मुझे याद करो.
It
मुझे
comes
याद
in
करो.
every murli that Baba says, remember
तो
me,
कोई
remember
भी
me.
बाबा से पूछा.
So somebody asked
बाबा
Baba
वैसे
and
तो
said,
कोई भी
Baba,
ऐसा नहीं कहता है
there
बार
isn't
बार तो मुझे
anyone
याद करो.
who says,
एक ही आप
remember
हो जो
me. You're the
बार बार
only one
कहते हो
who
मुझे
keeps
याद
on
करो. मुझे
asking
याद
people to
करो.
remember you.
तो बाबा ने मुस्कुरा के
Then Baba
कहा
smiled and he
तो
said,
मैं समझता हूँ ना तो
I
मुझे याद नहीं
understand, don't
करेंगे तो
I,
आपका
that
कल्याण होना ही नहीं है.
if you
और
don't
विस्मृति
remember
के
me,
संस्कार
then how
बहुत
will
है.
you be benefited? And many people
विस्मृति
have,
के
or you
संस्कार
have
को
many
मिटाने के
sanskaras of
लिए
forgetting. So in order
इतनी
to
ही
remove these
स्मृति चाहिए.
sanskaras of forgetting, you
इसीलिए
need a lot
यही
of
बाबा का
reminding.
बच्चों से
And
प्यार
therefore,
है
this is Baba's
कि
love for
भूल
his
नहीं जावे,
children, that he
फिर
doesn't want you
थके
to
नहीं जावे,
forget. He doesn't
कम
want
पद
you to
नहीं
be
प्राप्त
experiencing
करे.
lack of
ये भी
status
बाबा का
or
प्यार है
confusion.
बच्चों
So
से.
it is Baba's love for his
इसीलिए
children, and this is
बाबा
why
रोज याद दिलाता है
Baba
मुझे याद
reminds us
करो,
every
मुझे
day to
याद
remember
करो.
him, remember him.
तो बाबा ने एक तो यही कहा है याद करो.
So one thing is
और
Baba said,
दूसरा
remember me, and the other
अपने
thing
मन
is
और
Baba
बुद्धि
has
को
said
बिजी
that you
रखने
must
के
keep
लिए
in order to keep your mind and intellect
सेवा
busy,
करो.
you must do service.
फिर सेवा में भी ये नहीं है कि सिर्फ
And
वाचा सेवा
it's
है.
not that you only have to do a
लेकिन
verbal service,
आजकल
but
तो बाबा
these
मनसा
days
सेवा
Baba
के
is
ऊपर भी बहुत
giving a lot of
इशारा देता है.
indication that
अपनी
we should be doing
किरणाएं
service through the
फैलाओ.
mind, so that our rays are
शांति
being
की
extended,
किरणाएं,
the rays of
सुख की
peace,
किरणाएं,
the
क्योंकि
rays
तुम
of happiness,
मास्टर ज्ञान
because you are the
सूर्य हो.
master sons
तो
of
सूर्य
knowledge, and the
क्या
sun
करता है?
does what?
किरणाएं से अपने
Through
कई
its
प्राप्तियां
rays,
कराते.
it enables much
रोशनी तो
benefit to
देता ही
happen.
है.
It gives light,
लेकिन सूर्य सिर्फ
but
रोशनी नहीं
not
देता,
only that,
लेकिन अपने किरणों द्वारा
through
कितने
its
काम
rays,
कराता है.
it does many
जैसे
things.
सोलर देखो,
For
सोलर
example,
सिस्टम
we
जो
have
है
our
वो
solar
कितना
system
काम
by
कर रही
which
है.
we get electricity,
हमारा खाना
etc.
देखो नीचे
and
बनता है सोलर
we are
सिस्टम
having
से
a
इतने
solar
हजार रुपए
cooking
करने
system
पड़ते
by
हैं
which so many
और
thousands of
सोलर
people
सिस्टम
can be
से क्या
fed.
नहीं हो रहा है आजकल
All
के
sorts of
ज़माने में
ways in which
क्योंकि
solar
सबको पता
energy
है
is being
कि
used,
ये
because
जो
many
साइंस
know
के साधन है वो
that
कभी
these
होंगे
equipments
कभी
of
नहीं होंगे
science will be sometimes there
इसको
and
भी यूज
sometimes not
करने की
there.
आदत
So
डाल रहे
we are developing
तो
the habits
इसीलिए
of using
बाबा
scientific
कहता है
equipment. And
कि
for
आप
this,
अपने को ज्ञान सूर्य समझ के
Baba
किरणें
says,
फैलाओ
you understand
सुख
yourselves
की
as the sun of
शांति की
knowledge
और
and spread
अनुभव
the
करो
rays of peace and happiness and
कि
give people the
मैं
experience
मास्टर ज्ञान सूर्य बनूं
that I become a
जो
master
मैं
sun of knowledge
मेरी
and
निकल रही है
my rays are
और लोगों
emerging
को
from
दे
me
रहा
and I am giving them to the people.
क्योंकि आजकल बाबा ने कहा
These days Baba has been
संसार
saying that
में
in the world,
मेजॉरिटी क्या
the
सभी
majority of
रॉयल
people
भिखारी हो गए
have become royal beggars.
पैसा लेने वाले नहीं
They don't take money,
लेकिन
but
सुख शांति
they
आनंद
want
प्रेम
love, peace,
शक्ति
happiness,
इसके
power.
भिखारी है तो
They
बाबा
are
ने कहा
begging for
रॉयल
these things,
भिखारी
and
बच्चे
so
हो गए
Baba says
हैं
they have become the royal
उनको आप
beggars, and
प्राप्ति
so
करा करके
you children
और
must
उनको
enable
अधिकारी
them to
बनाना
be satisfied and make them have a
तो
right
ये
to
हमारा
these
लक्ष्य है
qualities. So
कि
it is
दोनों
our
ही
aim
बातों में हम अपने आप
that
को चेक करें
we must check
तो
ourselves in
सचमुच
both
हम
of these
सारा
aspects to
दिन
see that throughout the whole
याद
day,
या सेवा
do I
इन
have
दोनों में से
service or
मन और
remembrance?
बुद्धि जो
And
है
in both
वो
of
बिजी
these
रहता है
is my mind and
अगर
intellect
हम सेवा
busy.
भी करते हैं
If I'm doing
तो
service,
भी वास्तव में
in fact,
अगर हमको
if
बाबा याद है
I am remembering Baba,
एक बारी हमको याद है
for
साकार
example, I
में बाबा
remembered
थे
once
तो
in
हम
Sakar
लोग
Baba's
जब
time,
क्लास कराते थे
Baba was
या किसको
seeing us
ज्ञान देने के लिए
conduct
कोई
class
जिज्ञासु
or
को
give
भाषण
knowledge to
वगैरह
any
करते थे
student or do a
तो बाबा
lecture.
ऐसे गुप्त रूप
Then
में
Baba would
चक्कर लगा
secretly
दिखाते
walk
थे
around and
और
just see
देखते
how
थे
we're
कि ये
doing.
बच्ची जो है
And he would see
वो
that this
ज्ञान तो सुना
child
रही
is
है
telling knowledge,
लेकिन
but
बाबा बाबा कितने बारी
how
कहा
many times does she use the word
ऐसे तो
Baba?
नहीं मैं तो नहीं करती मैंने ये
Or is
कहा
she
मैंने ये
saying,
कहा
I
नहीं
said
बाबा बाबा
this,
कितने बारी करती
I said that, but
तो
is it
बाबा
Baba said this and
सर्विस
Baba said
करते भी
that?
अगर
So
हमको बाबा याद है
whilst we're doing service, if we
तो
remember
हमारी
Baba, then
सर्विस के भी मार्क्स
we
योग में
attain
ऐड हो सकती
marks that are added
लेकिन
to
अगर
our
मैं
marks of
अपने उसमें
yoga.
हूँ
But
मैं
if
सुना
I'm
रही
just
हूँ
myself
भाषण के
speaking
टाइम निमित
at the
हूँ
time
और
of
निर्माण होकर के
delivering
मैं
a
बोल
lecture,
रही
I
हूँ
have to be the
निमित्त हो तो
instrument
किसने
and
निमित्त बनाया
be humble. So who
अगर
made me
निमित्त
the
भाव हमको
instrument? If
होगा
I have the
तो
attitude of
जिसने
being an
निमित्त बनाया
instrument,
वो
then the
भूल नहीं
one for
सकता
whom I am the instrument cannot be
इसीलिए बाबा
forgotten.
कहता
And
है
this is why Baba
कि याद
says,
और सेवा इस
remembrance
दोनों
and
ही बातों में
service
चेकिंग बहुत अच्छी चाहिए
require a lot of
समझो हम
checking.
योग
Suppose
लगाते
we are conducting
अभी
yoga,
अमृत वेले भी योग
or
लगा
suppose
दिया
we are establishing
काम
ourselves
काज
in
करते
yoga during Amrit
मॉर्निंग के
Vela,
टाइम भी
and at
समझो
the
ज्ञान
time
और
of
योग की
working
बातें
and at the
होती है तो
time
उसमें बुद्धि हमारी जाती है
of studying
लेकिन
in
जब
class,
कर्म करने में आते हैं
our intellect is connected with yoga. But
तो
when we
कर्म
start getting
करते करते
active,
वो याद की परसेंटेज
the
कम हो
percentage
जाती
of remembrance reduces.
मेजॉरिटी देखा गया है
We
तो
see this
उस
in the
समय
majority time.
हमको बिल्कुल ही योग यानी बाबा की याद
The
जो है
remembrance of our
वो रहे
yoga
और याद से
remains
जो शक्तियाँ
on one
मिलती है
side,
वो
and the
हमारे
power
अंदर
that
इमर्ज
normally we
रहती है
would get in through
मर्ज रहती है
yoga
वो ठीक है
should be
लेकिन इमर्ज नहीं
emerged.
होगी तो हम दूसरे
If
को
it's
सकाश
merged, that's
कैसे दे
okay, but if
सकेंगे
it's not emerged, how are we
इसीलिए
going to be
कर्म
able to
करते
convey
हुए
the sakash to
हमको
others?
ये
Therefore, whilst we
एक
are
विधि
engaged in
अपनी
activities,
अपनानी
we must
चाहिए
apply this
जो हमको
method,
अनुभव होती है
which I've
तो
experienced.
जिस समय हम कर्म
At the
करते हैं
time
ना
when I'm doing some
उस समय
activity, at
विशेष
that
हम ये
time I
अटेंशन
must give
रखें
special
कि
attention
मैं
that I
राजा हूँ
am a
डायरेक्टर
king,
हूँ
I'm a
डिक्टेटर
director,
डिक्टेटर तो छोड़ो डायरेक्टर हूँ
I'm a director.
मैं इस कर्म इंद्रियों द्वारा कर्म कराने वाली,
and through these physical organs
चाहे
I am
काम
getting
जैसे
action
देखो
done.
स्थूल में भी
In the
जब
physical
दफ्तरों
form,
में डायरेक्टर
suppose
होते
if
हैं
there's a director
तो
of an
काम
office,
कराते हुए
he is getting others
भूल
to do
थोड़ी
the
जाते
work,
हैं
but
कि
he
मैं
doesn't
डायरेक्टर हूँ,
forget that he is a
याद
director or
रहती
she
है
is a
ना।
director. This is
तो
always
मैं
remembered.
मालिक हो करके
And so
इन
I have
कर्म
to
इंद्रियों को
think of myself as
कर्मचारी
the
समझ के
master
कर्म कराएं।
and use this
काम
body
में
knowing
बिजी
that
हो
I am
जाते
its
हैं,
master.
उस
You
काम में
become
बिजी
busy
होने के
in
कारण
work, and
हमारी
because of getting
याद
busy
की
in it,
याद
the
रहती है लेकिन
remembrance
हल्की
is
याद
there,
रहती
but
है,
it becomes rather
परसेंटेज जो है
slack or
वो कम हो
superficial,
जाती
and
है।
there is a
जो
reduction of its
अमृत वेले खास
percentage.
बैठते हैं
When you sit
या मुरली
specially for
सुनते
Amrit
हुए जो
Vela
हमारे
or
को वो
the stage while
याद
you are
बाबा की
listening to the
रहती है
Murli,
सुनते
which is a
सुनते,
stage of Baba's
वो कर्म
remembrance,
करते
the
परसेंटेज हमारी कम नहीं
percentage
होनी चाहिए।
in comparison with
क्यों?
that should not be reduced whilst
इसीलिए
we're
बाबा
doing
ने
other
आजकल कहा
activities.
है
And Baba has been
तो
saying these
समय
days
अचानक आने वाला है
that things are going to happen very
और
suddenly,
सेकंड में आपका
and
पेपर
it's
होना है।
in a second that you will get your
अब
exam
पेपर भी
paper.
आउट कर दिए बाबा ने,
And when you take the
अचानक
exam, it
होना
means
है
you're being shown up.
और सेकंड
It'll happen
सेकंड में होना है
suddenly, and it'll
और
take only
पेपर
1
का
second.
क्वेश्चन जो है
And the
वो
question
यही
paper
आना है,
is this,
नष्टो मोहा स्मृति स्वरूप।
and that is, am I detached and fully
बिल्कुल
aware?
स्मृति स्वरूप उस समय हो
You have to
और
be
नष्टो
absolutely
मोहा
aware
पहले
at
तो
that
अपने
time,
देह
and
का ही ज्यादा
beforehand you
मोह
have
होता
to
है।
be detached.
दूसरी
You have
चीजों
greatest
में भी
attachment for your own
देह
body.
भान है तभी चीजों में भी मोह होता है।
And you become
देह
attached
के
to
लिए ही तो
things
चीजें है
because
ना, आत्मा के
of
लिए
being
तो कोई
attached to
चीजें
your
है नहीं,
body. Otherwise,
साधन
the
है ही
soul
नहीं।
doesn't have any things.
तो देह की स्मृति है
But because of the
तब
consciousness of the
हमको
body,
कुछ भी मोह
we
साधनों में
start to get
संबंध में
attached to
संबंध भी
objects
देह
and
के साथ है।
relationships, and all of
अगर
these are
देह
connected
चली
with our
जाती है
body.
तो
But if the
संबंधी
body
कहाँ
goes,
याद
then
रहते हैं,
all of
खत्म।
these relationships are
दूसरे
finished
जन्म में
right
दूसरे
away.
संबंधी मिल
In the
जाती है,
next birth,
पहले
you'll
जन्म
get
के
other
संबंधी कहाँ याद
relations,
रहते हैं।
and you will not
तो सब
remember those
देह
of your
के साथ
previous births.
कनेक्शन
So
है।
everything is
तो
connected with the
लास्ट
body.
में अगर
In the
अपने
end,
देह में
if
बॉडी कॉन्शियसनेस
you
जरा भी किसी भी
have
रूप से
even a little bit of body
है
consciousness in any
तो
form,
नष्टो मोहा तो
then
हुए ही नहीं ना।
it means you are not
तो क्वेश्चन
detached.
यही आना
So
है,
this is the
एक ही
question.
क्वेश्चन
There's
बस,
just one
सभी के
question.
लिए एक ही
One
क्वेश्चन है।
question
ऐसे
for
नहीं है
everyone. It's
कि
not that
पुरानी
different
दादियों
people
के लिए
have
एक
different
क्वेश्चन
questions,
आएगा, 2
different
साल
question for
वालों
the
के लिए,
daddies,
4
and
साल
a
वालों
little
के लिए।
different questions
क्वेश्चन
for the
वही एक ही
later
आएगा
on
सभी
people.
के
It'll
पास,
be
चाहे
one
सबका कोर्स
question for
करने वाला हो।
everyone, whether it's even somebody who's
लेकिन
still
यही
doing their 7
क्वेश्चन
days
आना है,
course. But this is the
नष्टो
question.
मोहा स्मृति
Will you be
स्वरूप।
detached and completely
अब
aware?
इसके लिए
And for
हमको
this,
क्या लक्ष्य रखना
what aim
चाहिए
should we
कि
have?
कर्म करते हुए भी
That is, that
जो
even whilst
बाबा कहते हैं
engaged in karma,
कर्मातीत,
Baba says we have to be in the
कर्मातीत माना
karma
ये
teat
नहीं है
stage.
कर्म
Karma
से
teat
न्यारे हो
doesn't mean
जाओ,
that we're not
इसको
connected with
कर्मातीत नहीं
karma.
कहते।
No.
जब हम इस समय चल रहे
At
हैं
the
जीवन
present
में
time, we are
तो
living in
कर्म
this
से न्यारे
life,
तो हो ही नहीं सकते।
so we cannot be
आंख
detached from
हिलना भी
actually
कर्म है,
performing any action.
तो
Even
आंख
looking through your
हिलना
eyes
बंद
is an
होंगी क्या
action.
जीते
Can
जी?
you stop
बंद तो नहीं
moving
कर
your
सकते है
eyes?
ना।
No.
नींद की और बात है,
Sleep is
अपने
another
आर्डर से बंद
matter.
करते हैं, वैसे तो काम काज करते बंद नहीं कर
And you
सकते है ना।
can't
तो
do your activities
कर्मातीत
with your
माना
eyes shut. So karma
कोई
teat
भी
doesn't mean
कर्म
that.
हमको
Karma
अपने
teat
तरफ
means that
आकर्षित नहीं करे।
no karma that we're doing
जैसे
should
आपने
draw
देखा
us to
होगा
itself. You must have
कभी
seen
कभी हम बहुत काम में बिजी होते हैं या मनन
sometimes
में
people
बिजी है,
get very
किसी भी
busy
बात में
in
आप
their
बिजी
work or
होते हो,
thinking. If you're very
आपके
concentrated in
यहाँ हाथ
something,
पर मुंह पर मक्खी आती है,
and if there's a fly that comes to your hand or
लेकिन
your
आप
face,
अगर बिजी हो
but if
आपको
you're very
डिस्टर्ब नहीं
busy,
करेगी,
you will
आप
not
ऐसे
get
करेंगे उसको
disturbed.
उड़ा
You will
देगी,
just
अपनी
slightly
बात में
make a
व्यस्त।
movement and stay involved in your thing, and the fly will
अनुभव
go
होगा
away. This is
आपको
your
जब बहुत
experience
बिजी है
when
तो
you're very
बंद
busy
होती,
with
और
your
वैसे तो
intellect and
बार
your
बार
mind.
खींचेंगी वो मक्खी,
That
तंग
fly
करेंगी
might
और
trouble you
वही
and
संकल्प
draw your
चलेगा ये कहाँ
attention
से आई
again and
क्या है,
again.
इसको
Then you will
निकालूं ये
say, where
करूं,
did this
वही
fly
चलेगा।
come from? We've got to
लेकिन
get rid of
कर्म
it.
हमको
But
अपने तरफ
karma should not, or our activity should
हम
not
कर्म करते
pull
भी
our
न्यारे
attention to
रहेंगे,
it. We should do the karma and still be
आकर्षित नहीं हो
detached
जाए
and not
कर्म
have
में,
any
वो
attraction to
इस
the
समय
karma.
कर्मातीत
At
अवस्था
that
हमारी
time,
हो,
we would be
जिसको
having the
पिस्ता
karmatit
अवस्था
stage,
कहो.
which is also called the
जो
angelic
बाबा कहते
stage.
हैं ना, अभी
And Baba
लास्ट
says
स्टेज
that the
आपकी
last
फरिश्ता है.
stage is your
फरिश्ता
angel
माना
stage.
ही
An
डबल
angel
लाइट.
means to be double light.
लाइट का आकार हमको अपना इमर्ज हो.
And so our
मैं
light form
सूक्ष्म
emerges,
शरीरधारी फरिश्ता
and
हूँ.
we say,
और
I am
लाइट
the
माना
angel
हल्का.
with a subtle
कोई
body,
भी
and light
मन और
also
बुद्धि
means
में बोझ
weightless, so
नहीं
there
हो.
should be no
तो डबल
nothing
लाइट हो गया
weighing
ना
in your
फरिश्ता.
mind and
तो जब
intellect. So
डबल
that is a
लाइट
double
है,
form of lightness. When you
हल्कापन
are
भी
double
है
light, you
और
are
फरिश्ता माना लाइट रूप
subtle,
भी अपने
taking the
को
form of
जैसे
light, and you are
ज्योति की
weightless,
काया वाला
as if
मैं हूँ.
you are a person who
अनुभव
is
ऐसे होगा
in a body
जैसे
of
मैं
light,
आत्मा
and you will
ज्योति हूँ ना,
experience that
तो
you are
ज्योति
a
रूप में
light,
स्थित
a point
होंगे
of light.
तो लाइट ही लाइट दिखाई देंगी.
And when you're stable in that stage,
इसीलिए
you see
बाबा
only
कहता है
light.
कि
And this
ये
is why
ड्रिल
Baba
करो.
says you must practice this drill.
जैसे डॉक्टर्स आजकल दो बातें कहते हैं,
Doctors talk to
एक
people
खाने
about
की
two
परहेज
things.
करो
One is they have to pay
और दूसरे
attention
एक्सरसाइज
on
करो.
their
ये
diet
दो ही
and
चीजें
also
डॉक्टर भी
exercise.
कहते
These are
हैं.
the
तो
two
बाबा भी हमको यही कहते हैं,
disciplines. And Baba
एक
also
मन की
gives
ड्रिल
us
करो.
the discipline of the mind,
मैं
that I
ब्राह्मण हूँ,
am a
ब्राह्मण
Brahman who,
फरिश्ता,
who is becoming an
फरिश्ता सो
angel, and
देवता.
an
ये
angel who
ड्रिल
is
करो,
becoming the deity. This is the
एक्सरसाइज
drill.
करो.
This is the
बीच
exercise,
बीच
mental
में ऐसे
exercise.
नहीं अमृत
We
वेला
can't
हुआ
do this
रात्रि
all
को
the
चेक
time,
किया नहीं.
but
इसीलिए देखो
not
यहाँ
just only in
दादी
the Amrit
में
Vela and the
बहुत
evening,
अच्छा
but
प्रोग्राम
through
बनाया
the
है
day
जो
also
हर
to check
घंटे
this. And
एक
Dadi has
दो
given a
मिनट
good
के लिए
program
एक
that for
लाइन
2
चलती है.
minutes there
गीत
is
की
one
बजता है
short
रिकॉर्ड.
line of a song that's
क्यों
played
बजता
in
है?
Shantivan every hour.
क्योंकि
Why?
स्मृति में आ जाए.
So that people would remember.
स्मृति में आने से जैसे
When you
ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल
remember,
हम
just
करते
like
हैं,
we do the traffic
तो
control,
ट्रैफिक
which is a
कंट्रोल का
little
गीत
longer,
बजता है,
and when the
तो हम
traffic control
अपने को
song
समेट
is
करके
there, we merge
और
ourselves
आत्मा रूप में स्थित
and
होने
we
की
hold
पुरुषार्थ
ourselves,
लक्ष्य
make
तो यही
our
रखा हुआ
effort
है
to
ना.
hold ourselves steady in
ऐसे
the
ये
stage of the
रिकॉर्ड
soul.
सुनने
In the
से
same way, when we
हमको
listen to this
ये
other
याद
record,
आवे
we
तो
remember
मैं
this,
सचमुच
that I am
कर्मातीत हूँ,
really,
कर्म के
am I
अधीन
really
तो
a
नहीं हो गई,
karmatit soul? I haven't
कर्म
got
में
caught up
फंस
in
तो
the
नहीं गई हूँ,
karma. I
बस
hope I
वही हो
didn't get
बुद्धि में
pulled into
और
it.
कुछ
This is
भूल
the
गया. मैं
question.
आत्मा हूँ ये
Did
भी
I
भूल जाए,
did I forget that
ऐसा तो
I'm a
नहीं हो
soul?
गया.
I hope this didn't
आत्मा
happen,
मालिक हो करके
because the
ये
soul
मेरे
has to be as the
कर्मचारी है,
master,
मैं मालिक
and
हूँ.
using this
मालिक
body
हो
of the
के
sense
कर्म इंद्रियों से
organs
कर्म करा
and
रही हूँ.
getting the
मैं
activity
कर्म
done.
इंद्रियों से
I
न्यारी हूँ
am
और मालिक हूँ.
detached from this body
ये
and I am its
स्मृति
master.
हमारी
This is the
कर्म करते
awareness,
हुए जरूर होनी
and we
चाहिए.
must have this
अगर
whilst we
ये
are doing our
स्मृति हमारी नहीं
activities. If we
होती
do
है
not have this
तो
awareness,
नेचुरल
then
है हम कर्म के बंधन में फंस
it'll
जाते
be
हैं. अच्छा
automatic that we
बुरा
get caught
समझो कि
in our karma,
अच्छा
whether it's
कर्म
good
हुआ,
or bad.
मेरी
Suppose
कोई
it's
ने
good
महिमा की
karma,
तो महिमा के
and
टाइम हम
somebody
महिमा के रूप
praises
में आ
me,
जाते हैं.
and then I
कोई
start
ने गिलानी
accepting
की
that,
तो
or
गिलानी के
somebody
रूप में आ जाता
defames
है.
me, and then
कभी
I start
काम
getting into
करते
that.
करते बॉडी कॉन्शियस ज्यादा होती है ना,
The
सोल
more we
कॉन्शियस
have body
मालिक
consciousness
होके
while
कर्म
doing
इंद्रियों से
karma,
नहीं करे, कभी
this will
थकावट बहुत
happen
हो
if
जाती है,
we
कभी
that then
तंग
we
हो
can
जाती है,
get
पता
troubled,
नहीं
or we
कब
can
तक ये
get
काम
tired,
पूरा
and we
होगा. ये
we
स्टेजेस
wonder
होती
when
है ना.
this work is going to
लेकिन
finish. But
जब हम अपने को
when we
कर्मातीत में न्यारी
experience ourselves as karmatit
आत्मा
and detached,
मालिक
the soul, the
इस कर्म
master,
इंद्रियों सहयोगियों
getting
से कर्मचारियों से काम
this
करते हैं.
activity done through
ये
the
अभ्यास
cooperation of
हमको
this body,
हर
this is the
टाइम
practice
स्मृति में रहना
that we
चाहिए,
must have at all
तब हम
times,
फरिश्ता
and
बन
then we
सकते
will
हैं.
be able to become
नहीं तो कोई
angels.
ना कोई
Otherwise,
व्यर्थ
there will be
संकल्प
some or
का भी
another
बोझ,
waste
ये भी
thought,
बोझ है,
which will take the form of a weight
और कोई
in the
बातों का
mind.
बोझ नहीं हो,
Maybe there's nothing else that's
कोई
weighing heavily on the
परिस्थितियों का बोझ
mind.
नहीं हो, ये
You
हो
don't
सकता
have
है.
any concern
लेकिन
about your stage, but
अगर ये भी थकावट है या
suppose there is
हमारे
some
वो
tiredness,
जैसी गिलानी की तो उस रूप
or
में आ गए,
somebody
महिमा की तो
is
उस रूप में आ गए, तो ये भी
defaming
बोझ
you,
है.
then this is
व्यर्थ
as if you're
संकल्प भी
taking
बोझ
the
है.
burden of
भिन्न
that
भिन्न
waste thought.
प्रकार के जो हमारे
Many different
बोझ है,
kinds of burdens
उससे
come
डबल
to
लाइट
us,
हमको
and
बनना.
we have to become double
तो
light from
ये
these.
चेकिंग हमको लगातार चले।
We must have this checking going
अमृत
on very
वेला रात्रि
carefully
के
from the
टाइम या
Amrit
7
Vela.
बजे शाम को
In
टाइम
the
का
evening
फिक्स
at
है
7
हमारा
o'clock
1
you have
घंटा।
meditation for
उसमें
an
हमारी
hour.
योग की परसेंटेज बहुत अच्छी
And
हो
at that
और
time the
बाकी
percentage of your
टाइम जो
yoga is
है
very high, but
वो
the other
योग की
time the
परसेंटेज अगर
quality of
हमारी
yoga or
ढीली
its
हो जाती
percentage,
है
if it becomes
तो
lightweight, then
समय पर हम पास नहीं
at
हो
the
सकते,
time of our exam we will not
क्योंकि
be able to
हमारी
pass it,
परसेंटेज समझो
because
साधारण है
if our percentage
और
is
अचानक ही
ordinary
कुछ
and
हो जाता
suddenly
है तो
something
साधारण
happens, then
योग से हम नष्टो मोह स्मृति
we are
स्वरूप का
not
पेपर
able
नहीं
to
दे
take
सकेंगे,
to pass
पास
the
नहीं हो
exam of being
सकेंगे।
detached and fully
इसीलिए
aware
बाबा
through
कहते हैं
ordinary level of
निरंतर योगी।
awareness. Therefore, Baba says we have to be
ये नहीं
constant
कहता है 2
yogis. He
घंटे
doesn't
का
say
योगी या
you must
बैठा
be
बैठा
yogis for
योगी नहीं
2
कहा है।
hours. No, that is
बाबा
not a
ने अभी
yogi.
लास्ट मुरली में
In
भी
the last
कहा
Murli, Baba
चलते
also said
फिरते
that
भी
whilst you're
योग
moving
होना
around, you
चाहिए।
have to be in a stage of yoga.
तो वो चलते फिरते कैसे होगा,
And
काम
so how
काज तो
will that
करना ही
be? Because you
पड़ेगा।
have to do your
ऐसे थोड़ी सिर्फ
activities.
योग में
You
बैठे
can't
रहेंगे,
just sit in
क्योंकि हम
meditation for all the
कोई
time.
कर्म सन्यासी तो है ही
We are
नहीं,
not
कर्म
karma
तो करना ही
sannyasis. We
पड़ेगा।
have to do different karmas.
इसीलिए योग
And
की
therefore,
स्टेज
the
अपनी बनानी
stage of
है,
yoga has to
हमको
be
पास होना
created,
है।
because we do have to pass the
अंत में
exam at the
पेपर दे
end.
के पास विद
There will
ऑनर
be
होना
the
है,
paper and we have
तो
to pass
ये
it with
सारे
honor.
दिन की
So
प्रैक्टिस
this is a
चाहिए
practice that's required throughout
किसी
the
भी
day,
समय। और
at any
दूसरा
time.
आजकल बाबा
Then
ने
the other
लास्ट
thing that
मुरलियों में
Baba was
कहा
also saying in the
कंट्रोलिंग
last
पावर
Murli is
आपकी
we have
बहुत
to have very strong
पक्की चाहिए।
controlling power. It has to be
मन
very
है,
firm. Your
मन
mind,
मन ही आधार है। देखो
it all
टेंशन आता
depends
है तो
on the
भी मन में,
mind. If you have
योग
tension, it's
लगाना
in the
है
mind. If you
वो भी
have
मन
the
मना
joy
भाव
of
है,
yoga, that's in
तो
the
मूल तो
mind.
हमारा मन ही
And so the
आधार
most
है।
important thing,
तो
the
मन
foundation of all of
मन
this
जो
is the
हमारा
mind.
आधार है,
And this mind of
उस
ours, which
मन
is our
में अगर
foundation,
व्यर्थ
if
संकल्प
there are
चल
waste
रहा है
thoughts
या
going on
कर्म
in it,
करते कर्म
or
कॉन्शियस ही
you
हो
get
जाते,
become
बुरा
action
नहीं मानते
conscious,
हैं,
it's not a
बुरा
bad
नहीं,
thing.
व्यर्थ
Don't take
संकल्प
this as
नहीं
a bad
चलती है,
thing.
न
It's
तो
not that
उल्टे
there are
संकल्प
waste or
चलती है,
wrong thoughts
लेकिन
going on,
कर्म
but at the
करते
same
कर्म
time,
कॉन्शियस हो
you
जाते, सोल
become
कॉन्शियस
action
नहीं होते।
conscious and not soul conscious.
तो कर्म कॉन्शियस के टाइम समझो अचानक ही कुछ हो जाता
So at the
है,
time when you
तो
are action
मैं
conscious, something
नष्टो
could
मोहा
happen, and then
स्मृति
at
स्वरूप
that
कैसे
time,
हो
how are you
सकेंगे।
going to be able to be the embodiment
सेकंड
of
के सवाल
awareness
है,
and
सेकंड तो ऐसे ही
completely
बीत जाएंगे।
detached? That second will pass
इसीलिए
and you
बाबा
will not
कहता
be able
है
to do it. This
कि
is why Baba
निरंतर
says you have
योगी
to
बनो
make yourself a constant yogi
और निरंतर योगी का
and
अटेंशन रखो,
have the
भले
attention of
कर्म
being a
कर रहे हो
constant
तो
yogi.
भी
Even though you are
सोल
engaged
कॉन्शियस
in
हो के
action, you
कर्म
still have
करो,
to be soul conscious and
मालिक
do
हो के
action. You are the
कर्मेंद्रियों से
master,
करा रहा
and in
हूँ,
that stage
ये
get your
नशा
action
और
done through
स्वरूप
this
की
body. You
स्मृति
must have the
अनुभव होने
intoxication,
चाहिए।
the experience,
ऐसे नहीं
and
मन
the
में मैं
stage
समझो
of this. It should
बस
not
मैं
be
तो
that in your
आत्मा हूँ
mind
मालिक
you
हूँ,
say, okay, well,
ठीक
anyway,
है
I know
काम
that
कर रही
I'm
हूँ
a
मालिक
soul
हूँ
and
ही
I'm the
नहीं,
master.
इमर्ज
No,
हो।
it has to be something that you can
बाबा ने
actually
कहा ना
feel.
मर्ज रूप
Do
में
not let it be
अगर
merged, but
आपका नशा भी
emerged.
है निश्चय भी है,
If your
लेकिन
intoxication and
मर्ज
faith
है
is merged,
वो ठीक नहीं है,
then
इमर्ज
that's
होना
not
चाहिए।
right.
क्यों
It has to be
कि हमको
emerged,
अंत के
because
समय
at the last
हमारा
moment,
जो पार्ट है
our
वो
part
साक्षात ब्रह्मा बाबा और
is to be
साक्षात्कार मूर्त हो।
like Brahma Baba's
तो
image, and
साक्षात्कार
an
कैसे
image that
होगा
can give
हमारे से
visions. So how can we give
जब
visions
हमारे
through
में इमर्ज
ourselves?
होगा ना,
Only when this stage is
नशा
emerged.
होगा ना,
The
प्रैक्टिकल
stage
हमारे
of intoxication
फेस
has to
में
be
बाबा तो
practically
आजकल ये
there
भी
on our
कहता है
face. These
कि
days Baba
आपके
says
फेस में
that
कोई देखे तो
if
आपको
anybody
बॉडी
sees your
नहीं
face,
देखे,
they will not see your
लाइट ही
body,
लाइट
but they will
देखे।
just
हमको
see light
याद है
upon light.
जब
And I
शुरू शुरू
remember at
में
the beginning,
हम लोगों को साक्षात्कार शुरू हुए थे,
when we
कराची की
started
बात
having
है,
visions in Karachi,
तो बाबा हम लोगों को सीन दिखाते
Baba
थे।
used to show us different
तो
scenes.
अंत में
And at the
बहुत
end,
ही विकारी मनुष्य,
he said there's going to be
धोखेबाजी
a
सब
lot of
आपको
people in a very
पेपर
bad
लेने के लिए
situation,
आएंगे उस समय,
or
क्योंकि उस समय तो
people who are
बहुत
not very
ही
favorable, who will come
हाहाकार
to take
होगा।
your exam. There
तो
will be a lot
4
of
प्रकार
disturbance,
के
and there'll be
पेपर बाबा
4
ने कहा
kinds
था,
of papers
उस
that will
समय
come to
इकट्ठे
you,
4
and they will
प्रकार
happen
के
at the
पेपर
same
आने हैं।
time.
एक तो माया
One
तो
is
हमारी
Maya,
है ही
which is
पुरानी
always
साथी,
there,
वो
trying
तो
to
बिन
bother
वो
us, and that
आती
takes
ही
one or
है।
another form always.
अच्छा, और प्रकृति,
Then there is matter.
प्रकृति का भी होगा।
There'll be a
जैसे
test
अभी
from
देखो
matter.
एक सिर्फ
For example,
सागर ने इतना
The
किया,
ocean
अभी तक
has
देखो
created
मौसम
so much that
ठीक
the
नहीं
weather
चल
has
रही
still
है.
not recovered
अभी
from
तक
this
कहाँ, जहाँ नहीं
disturbance.
होना चाहिए बारिश वहाँ
And
बारिश
there
हो
is
रही.
rain where it
जहाँ
shouldn't be
ओले
at
नहीं
the wrong
पड़ने चाहिए
time.
वहाँ ओले पड़ रही
Where
है.
there are waves, there shouldn't be
तो
any.
सिर्फ एक सागर के
And only because the
उससे
ocean
हलचल से अभी तक
disturbed
भी देखो कितना
the
हो रहा है.
system and the
कहाँ
earthquake
ठंडी
that
नहीं
produced
पड़ती
it,
थी वो
somewhere
ठंडी.
where it's supposed to
दुबई में
be
कहते कभी
cold.
भी
For
ऐसे
example, in
ओले या वो
Dubai,
नहीं
there
पड़ते
was
थे, लेकिन
never
अब
such cold
इन
or
दिनों में
ice or
भी
snow
बारिश पड़ी.
before, and there's
देखो
never a
प्रकृति कितना
rain
वो हो
in
गई.
these places, but
तो
there's so
उस
much at
समय
this
बाबा
time.
कहते हैं
At that
पांच ही
time, Baba
तत्व इकट्ठे
says
काम
all
करेंगे.
5
ये तो एक
elements of
सागर
matter.
ने
This was
काम
just
किया,
only water.
लेकिन बाबा
But Baba
स्पष्ट
has
सुना रहा है कि
clarified
ये होना है
that these things are
पहले से
definitely
ही.
going to happen,
तो
and he has
बाबा ने
told it
कहा
way in
एक तो
advance.
माया
Baba has said one
और
is
दूसरी
Maya, the
प्रकृति
other is matter.
और
The
तीसरी जो
third
है
one
वो हमारे जो
is
संबंध है ना,
our
समझो
relationships,
आत्माएं
the other
वो दुखी
souls.
होंगी.
They will be upset,
दुखी होंगी तो
disturbed,
चिल्लाएंगी.
and so they will cry out
दुख की चलो
because of
चिल्लाए नहीं,
sorrow,
तो
even if they're
उसकी
not crying
शिकिया
out,
आप
but you will see
दुखी
their
अशांत
distress on their
खून कहाँ
face,
बह रहा है,
and they
कहाँ
see
क्या
blood
वो चिल्ला
flowing,
रही है,
all
दर्द
kinds
हो
of
रहा
torture
है,
going on, very
छुड़ाओ
bad
छुड़ाओ
things are
छुड़ाओ.
happening,
ये
people asking
संबंध
to
जो
be
है
saved. So all
आत्माओं का,
this
मनुष्य
relationship that we
आत्माएं,
have with other
उनकी
human
भी सीन
souls
बहुत
is going to
होंगी
produce a
खराब,
very disturbing scenes that
दर्दनाक
will pull
होंगी.
us, very
और चौथा
terrifying
अशुद्ध
scenes.
आत्माएं जो प्रवेश होती है ना,
And there
क्योंकि
will
अकाले
also
मृत्यु
be
बहुत होंगी. अकाले
possession. There'll
मृत्यु
be
होंगी तो वो
souls, wandering
आत्माएं जब
souls,
तक उन लोगों को
possessing
मुक्ति
others,
मिले तब
and
तक
when
घूमेंगी.
there's a lot
तो
of death, they
अशुद्ध
will be wandering
आत्माएं जो
around. So
होगी वो
these
भी
evil
हमारे
souls
ऊपर
will
असर नहीं
also
करेंगी.
be
ये
attacking us,
चौथी
and they need
पेपर
to
होगा.
not
चार
be
बाबा ने
successful.
सुना
So
दिया
Baba
है.
has spoken about these
जैसे
4
सुनाते हैं ना सीन,
exams.
कभी वो ड्रामा वगैरह में दिखाते
Sometimes
हैं,
people
वो
represent these in
बहुत
different
सीन
dramas that we
दर्दनाक
show
है.
here. Many of
इस
the
तरफ भी
scenes
नहीं जा
are
सकते, इस
very
तरफ भी नहीं,
terrifying.
चारों तरफ
So from
वो
all
आके
4
लगेंगे.
directions, all
तो
4
आप
different
सोचो उस
types
समय
of
कितनी
attacks will
पावर
be
चाहिए.
happening. So you
तो
can imagine
आजकल
how much
बाबा ने
power you
ये
need at
खास
that
कहा
time. And these
है
days Baba has specially
कि
been saying that
कंट्रोलिंग पावर
you
अपनी
have to
बनाओ.
have very strong controlling power within
कोई
yourself.
भी संस्कार हमारे काम करते हैं
And if
जिसको हम
any of
कहते हैं
our
क्या
sanskaras is
करें, हम
operating
चाहते
by
तो
which
नहीं
we
है,
say, well, I didn't want
हम
to do this,
समझते
I
भी है ये
understand that
ठीक
this is
नहीं
not
है,
a right thing to
लेकिन
do,
मेरी
but
नेचर
it's
है,
my nature.
चाहती नहीं हूँ.
I don't want to,
नेचर
but
है,
it's
मेरी
my
वो कभी
nature,
निकल
and
आती है.
I can't do
नेचर
anything about it.
है, रंग है तो नेचर
So
तो
if
धोखा
it's
दे सकती
wrong,
है.
then it means your nature
उस
is
समय
deceiving
समझो
you.
आपकी
At that
नेचर आगे
time,
निकले, कोई
you say it's your
अलबेलेपन
nature,
की है,
maybe it's
आलस की है,
carelessness,
कुछ
maybe
भी है.
laziness, whatever it
संस्कार
is,
जो है वो
your
कभी
sanskara.
भय आ जाता है, कभी किसके
Perhaps
प्रति
you are
घृणा आ जाती
afraid,
है.
or
कोई
maybe
भी
you
संस्कार
dislike
समझो
somebody.
नेचर
Whatever
के
that
रूप में.
sanskar is in you,
नेचर
claiming
के
it to
रूप
be
में
your
क्या होता है,
nature,
जैसे
when
कॉमन
it
बात
becomes
है,
your
ये
nature, then
कभी
it
हो जाता
becomes
है.
a common thing, and
उसको
you
हम
say, well,
बड़ी
yeah,
बात
that
नहीं
happens, and
समझते,
you don't
लेकिन
consider it a
नेचर भी
big deal,
धोखा तो दे सकती है ना.
but it is deceiving you.
इसीलिए बाबा कहता
Therefore,
है
Baba says
कंट्रोलिंग
you
पावर
need
हो.
to have controlling
समझो
power.
कोई संस्कार इमर्ज होता है
Suppose a
तो
negative
सेकंड
sanskara
में हम
emerges, then
मन
within
को
1
कंट्रोल
second you
कर
have to be
सकते
able to
हैं.
control your mind.
और जितना समय हम
And
मन
for
को
as much
जहाँ चाहे
time as you need to control your mind in whichever
जैसे चाहे
direction you want, in whatever way that you
वैसे हम
want,
उसको
you need
कंट्रोल
to be able
पावर
to
से
apply your
स्थित कर
power to
सकते हैं
control yourself and hold it stable for
कि
as
मैं
long as
कहूँ शांत हो
necessary.
जाओ और
If
मन
I say,
अशांति
yes,
होता
let's
रहे.
be peaceful, and the
मैं
mind
कहूँ
becomes peaceless. If
भय
I
नहीं
say,
करना है और भय
let us
भी
not be
चलता रहे,
afraid, but then you become
कंट्रोलिंग
afraid,
पावर नहीं
it means you
होगी,
don't have any
तो उस समय
controlling
कौन
power.
मानेगा हमारा.
So then who's going to believe anything else
नहीं
that you
होगा ना.
say? No one's going to
तो
believe you.
कंट्रोलिंग पावर बाबा ने कहा
So Baba has
अभी
spoken about
ये
controlling power,
अभ्यास करो.
that you have to have this
समझो
practice at
बहुत
this
बिजी
time.
हो आप,
Suppose even you're very
ऐसे
busy.
टाइम पर
At
अभ्यास
such a
करो.
time when you're very
बहुत
busy, you
बिजी
have
हो
to
आप.
practice this. You're very,
उस
very
समय
busy.
देखो
At that
सेकंड
time,
में मैं
you can see, can
कब
you see in 1
शांत
second,
आत्मा हो
can I
सकती
become
हूँ.
absolutely a
एक
peaceful
सेकंड
soul
के
within
लिए
1 second and for 1 second?
प्रैक्टिस करो,
You have to
अपने आप
practice
को
this
चेक करो.
and check yourself
तो
at a
सचमुच
second
उस
at a
समय
time, and then see
मैंने
if
सोचा
truly
भी
at
मुझे
that time
शांति की अनुभूति में रहना है.
that I have to stay in a peaceful stage. Okay, if not peace, then happiness or bliss or love of God. Whatever stage I want to have, I need to be able to make my mind stable and steady in that stage at that moment. If I'm not able to do that, then I require some practice. So controlling power, if it is there, it's necessary because at the end the circumstances are such by which you need touching power and catching power. Because at that time Baba's touchings will come as to which is right or which is wrong. Do this, don't do this. So there will be Baba's right touchings that come, and if suppose there is something wrong with my telephone or communication system, then whatever the person is saying, you can't hear them. They're speaking, but you can't catch what they're saying. You can't catch it, then you don't know what they're saying. So in the same way, if our intellect is not absolutely still, then how will we be able to catch the touching that Baba is giving us? Our mind and intellect, if they're under the influence of any weakness, then we will not catch the right touching. We will not catch what he is saying. And at such a time, we used to understand beforehand, when we all used to live in Madhuban, there wasn't service at that time, and we didn't even think about service. We didn't think that we would have to go out on service. We thought, and it was our slogan, Baba and Mama will be in front of us, and we are in the protection of Madhuban, and then we will leave our bodies like that. This was our slogan. And now you can see, someone leaves their body in London, some in America, some somewhere else. You can leave your body anywhere, and we thought Mama and Baba will be in front of us, but we all went to all different places for service, so we had absolutely no idea there would be the question of leaving for service, but in subtle form, we know that at the time of leaving the body, Mama and Baba will be in front of us, and we will be remembering Madhuban, and we will leave our bodies. And of course, in physical form, they will not be there. So it doesn't matter where we are at that time. Therefore, we have to be so ready for this moment. Even we didn't dream about this. We didn't think someone would go to America, someone would go to London, or someone would go to here or to there, and Mama and Baba would not be there. We absolutely did not think this at all. But now it's changed. And so our circumstances are naturally going to keep on changing. So what do we have to do about that? We have to learn the power learn controlling power so that we can control our mind. This is very, very necessary, which Baba says in other words. In the last Murli, Baba also said, if you just remember one word, the word point, you have to become a point. A point means a bindu. You have to become a point. And you have to apply the point of the full stop, and you have to think about different points of knowledge. And so all you have to do is remember the one word point, and then Baba says you can be victorious just by doing that. So we have controlling power over our mind. So that means that when you're very, very busy at that time, you must try and see if you can be the person who has complete stillness. And so your thoughts are going on that you're going to be doing these activities. Now, can you stop that in a second and become soul conscious so that the action consciousness doesn't pull you? Baba says sometimes the children say, Baba, We are sitting in meditation, but we were thinking about plans of service. Service is a good thing. It is not a bad thing. And still Baba would say at the time when you are sitting with a particular aim, so you're sitting not for service, you're sitting for meditation. So at the time of yoga, if you're remembering service, then at the time when you have to do a certain activity, you have to do that. And if you're doing something else, that makes it wrong. This is why Baba has given us a lot of points and a lot of indications about developing the power of controlling our mind. So you have to check this within yourself. One is you must not be action conscious. At that time also, you have to always remember, I am a master and getting this action done through this body, and see whether your mind is under your control or not. You must check this very carefully. And then whatever you want to do at whichever moment, suppose I say, okay, right now I want to spread rays of peace. And if I remember matters of happiness, then it's wrong. I have to do that which I decided to do. And whatever thoughts I want to make happen, I must make those happen. And wherever I want to focus my mind, it should focus there. There's a story about this in the scriptures that you may be aware about, and you know there's a lot of scriptural stories Baba also used to say about this.
किसके लिए बाबा कहते हैं एकदम वहाँ रावण के दरबार में गया तो
there was a person who went into, this was Angad, who went into Ravan's court, and so he wouldn't move his foot. So you have to have the foot of your thought absolutely firm so that nobody can move it whatsoever. And so Ravan came, and he tried so much to move Angad that his crown fell down. That he had such a hard time. That means you have to be so firm that no matter what sanskar it is that tries to disturb you, they're not able to be victorious over you. And so this practice has to start from now, and Baba has also given us, asked us to pay attention on this, saying that do not think that, oh, well, whatever is not working out, it's a very big effort, so if I do it just a little bit, it'll be all right. So Baba has said, no, time is not going to if time makes you ready and you're waiting for time, then you're not going to become the master, because time is your creation. So the master creator has to remain the creator over time, so that it means it's wrong to think that when the time comes you'll be ready. And some people think that, yeah, when the time is disturbed, then people will change, but you won't get any attainment from that. So Baba has drawn our attention that you have to practice this for a very, very long time, and only then will you get to the fortune of the kingdom for a very, very long time. Suppose, say, we have 21 births. So for 21 births, that's a long period of time. And if for the present time we do not do effort for a long period of time, then Baba has said that you will also not be able to get an attainment for a very long time. At the time when Brahma Baba first comes at the time of Krishna, at that time we will not take birth, we will take birth later on. Once Baba had said that if you want to take a status and be the most elevated of all, then you all have to arrive at the first day of the first month of the first year. It should be the first birth, it should be the first date, because it'll be the new date, and our stage also has to be a number one stage. We have to take birth with Brahma Baba at that time. Okay, 1 or 2 years is a separate matter, but at the same generation. And so in order to achieve this, or by achieving this, then it's said you've had the effort for a long period of time. So are you the ones who will come at the beginning of the first birth, or is it okay if you come on the third or fourth birth? So then you will not be in the list of those who have done the effort for a long period of time. And Baba says the period of a long time begins from right now. A lot of time has gone, there's very little remaining, and if you don't start doing it now, then you will not be able to accumulate the accumulation that's necessary for a long period of time. So we have to give a great deal of attention to this. There isn't a lot of time, but for the present time, if you start doing it and accumulate from now, then you'll still be able to be the one who claims the benefit of having done it for a long period of time. Baba also, we have also made a promise to Baba. We have said that we are with him, we will go with him, and we will come with him. This is our promise to Baba. Or did we say that, oh, we'll come later on in the third or fourth birth? This is not our promise. So we must also check this. Who is going to go with Baba is the one who is like Baba. Those who are like Baba, they can go with Baba. Suppose there's a president who is going to hold hands with the president and go with him. It has to be someone of a similar status, or it will be some passing beggar who will catch his hand and go along. Is that possible? Is that likely? So we want to go with Baba. He is Adidev Brahma, and we want to come with him and go with him. So that means we have to have a similarity with him. We have to be on the same level as him. And so Baba says the aim of you children must be to become like Baba, most certainly, most definitely. Not that, okay, I will try. No, that won't fly. Not, oh yeah, it'll happen. No, sometimes Baba asks, and you say, oh yes, yes, Baba, it'll happen. And Baba says, it won't work. You say, you will see, you're doing it, it'll happen. No, this will not work. From now you have to be very firmly determined that it will be now. It is from now. Then this is called firm determined thoughts. If you say, yeah, I'll try, and then they thought it was a good answer to say, I'll try, but then Baba once said, why do you say you're going to try? It means that there's something in the way, and that you have some weakness by which you are prompted to say that you will try. So if you use the word, I'll try, it means there's something stopping you. And so that will not work. That's not called a strong effort maker, a fast effort maker. A fast effort maker would be someone who, whatever Baba says, you do it right then and there. Mama came later on. Many people came to Baba before Mama. And the person who gave Mama the 7 days course left Baba and went back to the Kali Yuga. But it should not be that we don't become a strong effort maker and we become a superficial effort maker. Once Baba said that there are some children who think that we came only now, we came late. It's not going to be possible to go that fast. But Baba has said, even from now, nobody has received the final certificate. Everyone is running. Just as there is the game of musical chairs, it's only the last one who is on the last remaining chair who is the victorious one. So the game of musical chairs keeps going and the seats keep changing and the final whistle hasn't blown yet. And this is why anyone can run. Even one who has come much later, they can go way ahead. Anyone can become the example of being the one who's last going fast and who's fast coming in first. This is a blessing that you have received from Baba, so each one can understand that let me be the one to run fast and come first. You don't see anybody else. Say, oh, this one's going ahead, I don't have a chance, and in that way make yourselves depressed. Okay, they're moving, that's fine, but copy them and overtake them. Accumulate their specialities within yourself, but don't become depressed. And because getting depressed is a form of Maya, you get upset by some small thing, and you say, oh, perhaps I don't have this fortune. My anger isn't going away, my attachment isn't going away, I've tried a lot, perhaps it's not in my fortune. So don't get depressed like that. Baba says at the time when you get depressed, then what point should you remember? That okay, even if I'm weak, it doesn't matter. Maybe I am not able to erase my bad sanskaras, but who is combined with me? Baba is combined with me, isn't he? Or is he not? Is he combined? Put your hand up if you think Baba is combined with you. Is he? Is this firm? So that means you can't get separated from him. So then Baba says, you don't know how to take work from Baba. You don't know how to use him. Baba once complained about this. You claim to be combined with Baba, but at the time when you need it, you don't use me. You should order Baba, Baba, you are with me, now I'm weak, so now you have to do it. You are the Master Almighty, you are the Almighty Authority, so you get it done. So you need to claim your rights. But at that time you get confused. Oh, what shall I do? How shall I do it? It's very difficult. It's a very awful sanskara that's come. And then you don't get depressed like this. Remain happy in your heart, not depressed. And at that time, Baba can move you forward. Baba has said, I've given the rope of love to every child. You don't know how to tie me up in that love. You don't know how to make me be with you. So use Baba at the time, and because you don't use Baba when you need to, then the things that would make you depressed or come under some influence and all of these negative forces would affect you. So what do you have to do now? You have to take help from Baba at the time of need. Om Shanti.